All right, so this is our final exercise. This one is going to cover replication over a network. I know the guided exercise said to create a multiplayer, but when you read the material, it really means to replicate the information across all clients and the servers. So basically, because the Unreal Engine already has a great multiplayer feature built in, it's very simple to create a multiplayer game and have a lot of functionality. So what it's referring to is, it being the exercise, is that when a player does something in the world that affects the world, that change will be seen across all players. So for instance, in this example here, what I have is one player and a bunch of pickups. So when I do a pickup, it disappears. Well, by default, unless you tell it to, every other player that can come in here will still see a pickup existing. And I will display that here in a minute. Let me get this set up and I'll be right back to show you what I'm referring to. So back in the editor, if you come down here and under players, we go ahead and select 2. And when I hit play, I don't know where the windows are going, so give me a minute. Once they come up, I will place them. There we go. So we can see both windows. This is the server. So what I'll do is I'll get the player client able to see it. So on this screen, you can see all of the pickups right in front of us. So if I come over to the server now and I pick them all up, notice that on the player client, they're all still there. And that is because I don't have replication set up. And, even if I go over them now, it's not going to do anything. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and solve this. And to do this, we're going to actually solve it within 13 lines of code. Not too complicated, but still complicated enough as far as it's a little bit more fancy language and using some inherited things. The only thing we need to make changes on is the pickup. So in my case, I called it actionable. And we're going to start, of course, with the header. And the first thing we're going to do is add another include to include networking. Unreal network.h. And then what we're going to do is come down to our constructor and we're going to add a parameter to this. All right, so we're just going to add in the F object initializer. And just to make sure we're doing this across the board, we'll add that in right off the bat over here so we don't forget. And from here, we're going to need to set up a couple of variables to help keep track of all the replication that needs to go on. And this is going to be where we employ a macro feature that will tell the engine that this object needs to be replicated. So we're going to create a U property. And in here, we're going to add the keyword replicated. And this is going to be a uint, uint 32. Now this code here, I did find somewhere else. I think it was on one of the wiki pages. It works. I'm not quite sure exactly how it works, but it does. So I'm using it. We're going to actually create another property of the replicated. And this is going to be an array. All right, get past my typing errors. There we go, integer array. Clean that up a little bit. And then the last thing we're going to do here in the header is actually define a method that we're going to need. And it's actually an overridden method that we inherited from the actor class. Right there, get lifetime replicated props. Got to pass in a T array of the F lifetime property. and it is an override function. So we're going to go ahead and get that overrided. And we'll go ahead and save this real quick. So we're going to go ahead and get this defined. For now, we're just going to close that out, and we'll come over here on this side of things and get it to work. So on this side, let's see, the only things we needed to add are, 1, make sure the parameters are put in there correctly. 2, come over here, and we're going to just section this off real quick, just so we can make sure to know what we actually did. And this is actually pretty simple. We're just going to let the engine know that replication is okay for this object. So there is a built-in Boolean already. B replicates, and we're going to set it to true. And that's all we need to do there. So only thing we have left now is to set up this method. And here we actually only need 2 lines of code. We're going to employ another macro. It's the do rep lifetime. Okay, and in here we're just going to pass in our actionable class and our flags that we created. And the one difference with this macro is you do need a semicolon on it. And we're actually going to copy that and paste it and do another one of those. Except we're going to pass in the array. Like so. Let's go ahead and try to build that, see if we messed up anywhere along the way. All right, perfect. So everything built as it should. So if we come back over to the editor, this might glitch out on the first time around. If it does, I know the fix. So we're going to go ahead and click play. All right, so here's the server. And this here is the client. So let's see, if I pick these up, will the client be able to see that they're gone? Notice that it does not. I can assure you there is nothing wrong with the code. So what we're going to do is force it to rethink. Let's save everything and Control F5 to reload it without debugging. Let's try this again. All right, so on the client, we can see the pickups again. Now we're on the server. And voila, there you go. That's replication. And just to illustrate, what we'll do is redo this again, except for this time, I'll do it with the client. Just to illustrate that it works on both. All right, well, in a nutshell, that is the assignment. I hope this helps, and I'll see you next time.